Hello, and welcome to another week of the Xbox North podcast, episode number 19, the legal drinking age of Canada, or Ontario. We think so.
Yep.
This week, we are discussing the Halo Infinite multi... Sorry?
It's going to be a sloppy episode then, right?
Oh, ooh, I'm slurring my speeches right now. What are we talking about? This is an Xbox podcast. Yes. There's a Halo stuff that we're going to talk. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
All about Halo Infinite Multiplayer Flight, the Xbox presentation of Tokyo Game Show, more Battle Royale because they're just giving it out for free for everybody. You get a Battle Royale, I get a Battle Royale, and so do you. And also,
look under your chair. There's a Battle Royale.
Is there? Oh my God, just right over here.
More Battle Royale.
Yeah, that's it. And Game Pass, because you know what? That's the one that I actually want to give out to more people. Everybody should deserve Game Pass.
Nuclear.
They went please.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you as always, returning and watching. And if you're a new person, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. Hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment down. You can also find us on audio only if you don't like our beautiful faces. On Spotify, Google Podcasts, just look for Xbox North Podcast. We also have beautiful voices as well. Also on Reddit, Instagram, look at Xbox North Podcast. For Twitter, at North Xbox. And we are Xbox North Podcast. Joining with me as always, my two good boys, actually they're not boys, they're men. They're fathers. And
Yes.
they're Halo players and everything. Let me start with you, Dan Robertson. How you doing? What's going on with you? What you been doing lately?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Been playing a little bit of that Halo Infinite during the test flight that was on last weekend. Been playing, played a little bit of I Am Fish with my youngest daughter. She thought it was super cool because it's all like physics-based and everything, and she was just getting to push the fishbowl around and everything. She got a little tired of it when we ended up falling off a roof one too many times, but that's all right.
Nice.
Patience there. Yeah. Other than that, I've been playing some of the Avengers because that just dropped on Game Pass and everything.
Yeah.
It's been really good. It's been the co-op's pretty cool. The only thing I could ask for is some hot jumping in a mission or something. Would be nice.
Like drop in, drop out co-op?
Yeah, drop in, drop out co-op would be even better for it.
I'd like to be able, like when seeing you on, just being able to drop in. And it'd be so cool, like, and bring what do they call it? Like their Quinjet or something in, and you drop in.
And here's
drop a pod or something, or just drop Hulk.
Yeah.
Man, Hulk's the most fun to play in that game. He just like picks up stuff and starts tossing around, just wrecked.
Yeah, he just like picks up like a part of the ground and just like throws it at you.
Yeah, I powered it up so now I can use both hands to pick up an even bigger chunk of the ground and throw it at people. And then I was trying out some of the combo and like finisher moves and everything too. So it was like one of the big three-legged mech was walking around, and with Hulk you can just like run up and just pick it up and just drop it on the ground and smash it a few times. Or you can grab a guy and just like toss him back and forth, slamming him off the ground like Loki. Oh, it's good.
It reminds me of the finishers in Destiny. Yeah. I'm curious, can you get more like different kind of finishers?
Yep.
Yeah,
there was a few different ones that you could unlock. I think you need some of the gears or whatever, so I don't know if that's you pay for or you gotta get far enough in the game. I haven't gotten any yet, so.
Question for you though, and might as well we talk about Avengers for a little bit. Do you find the game, once you get to this whole like war table and picking missions part, like the game kind of falls off a little bit in like consistency?
Yeah, I found it was a little less like story driven. Like I felt more compelled to the story when there was more of the cinematics and like more of the like character development and everything. Now it's just kind of like, okay, you got your character, now go run around and do stuff.
Yeah. And I find like the levels are not as interesting when you get to that point as well. Like the graphics are really, really good, but they're so inconsistent sometimes. There's some levels that look freaking gorgeous, like jaw-droppingly gorgeous. But then there's some levels where they like try and simulate like a small town, and you're like, this looks bad.
Yeah.
So the inconsistency there is just is
Yeah.
interesting.
It feels like they got to like that point in the campaign and we're just like, all right, let's just hand it off to like another studio or something, or hand it off to just a group of guys just to throw stuff together as quick as they can. So there's lots of unending missions to just keep that game loop going. And it felt a little like, yeah, like rushed and not really like it's not enough to keep my attention. Like I found, yeah, my attention span was really starting to fall off like after getting to that point a little bit, and just it was less interesting. Like there was still some stuff going on, but it was yeah, a lot less story driven, I found.
And I feel like so like you can say their prior stuff that we can relate it to Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
The way they introduced side quests was so ingrained into just actually playing the game. Oh, I see something interesting up here. I'm going to go check that out. Where in this, it's like, oh, I'm going to pick this other mission and reload to it. So it went from like, I feel like the beginning half of that game was, hey, check this idea we have out for like an Avengers game. And it's like this linear beat 'em up game instead of like a shooter like Tomb Raider was. And they were like, awesome. Could you make it like a Destiny kind of game though? And they're like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess we could probably work that in.
Yeah. That was pretty much the short version of like what Square Enix probably said. You know what I mean? That was just like,
I could imagine that the original idea was just a drop-in, drop-out co-op game.
Yeah.
You know?
I would have been so much more like.
I would have been so much more interested in
I would have
that.
loved that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was super cool. Like, yeah, getting to jump in with like you and Ryan and everything and playing like a little bit and actually running around and doing stuff together.
Yeah.
It was a lot more of an experience than it was just single player.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I
wish
want to
it
play
had drop
more of
in.
it. Yeah, I wish it had drop in, drop out.
Yeah, I love doing that to like all my buddies whenever we're like playing online and stuff. If you can drop into the game before you join the party chat and try and sneak in on them.
I'd say that's what Destiny does really well. Just
and it's so fun because you're just
just like fly right in there and you just like appear next to him. You're just like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And the game.
It's okay. It's like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Also with me, Joshua James, who's been also playing Avengers, I'm guessing, or a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Saw the parents today. They came down, saw the grandkids. My little girl is just really starting to warm up to them. Man, she was just hamming it up for them. It was really cute. She's such a little firecracker, that one. I love her so much. But no, today was a good day. Work's been good, so it's just really starting to pick up because getting closer to the holiday season. But playing games, like getting assaulted essentially by Game Pass with the amount of games out there.
Oh yeah.
So like, I don't know why I was stupid and I decided to start Final Fantasy 13, but it's so linear. Like I was saying that I feel like I can jump back into it after I'm done a couple of these games and still kind of know what I'm doing and know where to go because it's just a straight line. But I've been playing the Avengers, enjoying it, even though like you're saying some criticisms about it. I've been more so sticking to just the campaign missions. So Dan, I'd say just stick to the missions on the war table that have the A on it. Those are the campaign, and it feels a little bit more consistent. But I do want to get, now that it's kind of falling off near the end, I do just kind of want to get it done with so I can get into Scarlet Nexus, because I hear that game just keep on getting more interesting with your powers the further you get into it, and it just seems like a more kind of my style of a game. So yeah, just there's so much.
I gotta grab that. It looks good.
Same here. I mean, we did that demo, and then I was just like, okay, I hope this game comes out for Game Pass.
Also played, and if you guys are watching, and this will be me failing. I did pretty good near the end, but this is me failing at Halo.
It's been a while since we've been playing too much Halo multiplayer.
My stream is, I will say this right now, I'm so happy it's your stream instead of mine, because I was terrible. I was probably like last place on the first 2 matches because I was
Okay.
like, yeah, but no, that's awesome.
I was amazing right from the start because I have no footage and you have no proof otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's funny. The footage is a little sped up, but it's fun. We'll be talking about our feelings about Halo Infinite later on in the show, but you know, it's fun, definitely.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Halo fan, though, man. I've been playing Halo since like literally when it came out, and you can just look at like my time played in not so much the Master Chief Collection because I played all those games in the order of release when they came out, but I don't know.
It's funny
I have a lot of time in Halo 5 though. I have a
Josh,
lot
it's funny you just said that because it's like, do you wish that achievements existed in the original console so they could accumulate the amount of hours that you played in the original Halo and Halo 2? Because it's probably a crazy amount.
Halo 2 is a crazy amount. Halo 3 is an absolute
ridiculous.
Like, they didn't record like how long you.
No, I don't think so.
In Halo, but well, back in the 360 day, no, they didn't record your time played like it does now. But in Halo 3, I would have had
just a ridiculous amount. I remember seeing my score because you can look at it, or you could have looked it up online. I think they shut down the older servers now.
Yeah.
But there was a whole bunch of statistics and everything, and I remember I put probably like 2,000 hours into it or something ridiculous. I don't know what it was.
Outrageous. Halo 2.
Yeah, it was like just a staple like every night of high school and then out of high school and playing with you guys and
it definitely died off after with Reach because the multiplayer just was not as good and multiplayer wasn't that great. 5 for me though. 5 really brought that back for me. Definitely.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it's good.
I loved 5. The weapons and everything, and the whole new Forerunner weapons and everything.
Yeah, they
was
got
a
the
nice change up.
Really good in 5.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like their talk pistol. Oh man, the pistol that like seeks you, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna miss a couple of those weapons. Like
that is true. Yeah, I just realized that.
I liked the especially like it was I believe in 4 too, but it was like the zoomed in like DMR and like the zoomed out battle rifle basically for the light rifle.
Yeah,
I liked how that kind of functioned. It was like a nice mix of both.
Yeah, we'll talk more.
We'll talk about that quite later on the episode for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
How about you, Andrew? What did you get up to this week?
It's funny because I'm like, am I just supposed to say the same thing you guys said? No. You know what? Overall, I'm good now. My 1 day off of the week. About to shoot a few projects and also a reshoot or a pickup day. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Lots of regular sleep in your future.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because, like, I remember last week I totally forgot to upload because I was like, Josh, I'm so sorry. I woke up at 2 a.m. I came home at 2 a.m. Yeah, and then I was like, as soon as I was like, oh, I'll wake up. And then, so yeah, I'm probably going to ask Josh to help me upload for this week. But what was it? My Blue Jays are over, so baseball season's over, so I'm not going to play MLB The Show for a while because I don't want to be reminded of the disappointing season that the Toronto Blue Jays had. 20 games over 500 and couldn't make the playoffs, but whatever. I don't care about that.
I thought
we were very good. We had like one of the best run differential teams, one of the youngest teams. The kid who is 22 years old, that's probably going to get a $400 million contract by the end of this year. But
wait a minute. Repeat that number that you just said.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the son of Vladimir Guerrero. He's 22 years old. He's one of the best hitters in the game. Just had an MVP season. And usually baseball, when they figure out that this player is like got the great season, baseball overpays a lot for their players. And it's been doing that since like the last 15 years. Alex,
you didn't say 400. You said
I said 400 million. Yeah, I said 400 million. Yeah.
No,
there's a player that's making 360,
No
370,
way.
and no, this is not like a lot of articles, ESPN and all those
Please,
people. Yeah.
write in the comments, criticize this.
No, somebody's gonna be like, Andrew's
$400
right.
million.
Vlad might get 400 million because there's another player that's kind of like him, got around that number, and people are like, well, Vlad is 22, and if you're gonna, like, he's probably gonna be good till he's 30, 34,
No
35.
way. It must be 40. You can't. That can't be right.
I am not joking, guys. There's players that make 30 to 35 million per year.
30, 35 per year. Like,
Per
so
year.
wait a minute. How long is this contract?
It's probably a 10-year contract.
Okay, that makes
So he's like
sense.
40 million probably. Maybe he's a $40 million player. That's probably what everybody's estimates are. Anyway,
Okay.
Yeah. sorry,
That's still a lot.
it is a lot.
I thought you were
It's-
talking
so
about
much
400
money.
million a year.
No. Rogers. So what is it? We're owned by Rogers Communication, like one of the biggest.
How are they making money?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they can
They're
they can
trying to buy
spend a boat.
Shaw right now. Like,
Yeah, they can buy a lot. Yeah. Anyway, but baseball game-wise, I'm probably not going to play MLB The Show for a while. And obviously, I'm enjoying Halo Infinite. We'll talk later about Halo Infinite. I want to talk about that later. Everything with what you guys said with the Avengers as well. Right now, I'm about to go try Sable tonight. I'm hoping to get really immersed in like a nice indie game and just call it a night. Just maybe just relax and play it because I think I've been delaying that game for a while. I've been kind of like keeping,
they fixed that problem where like things were rendering a little
at
weird
night.
at
Yeah,
distance. So it's a lot.
it's a small team. I think there's like 10 people making it. So, but
I downloaded that too. I gotta play some of that because I got it sitting on my console. I haven't opened it up just yet.
yeah, I think I'm gonna like it. I know it's probably more like it probably doesn't have like that many defined quests, and I think there's no dialogue and all that stuff. But I don't know. Sometimes there's certain games with art styles that I'm just like, I gotta give it a try. I just have to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Obviously, what was it? I'm playing Halo 1 till 5 before Infinite comes out with my buddy Frank. So we're almost done Halo 1, which is really good. And it's just, we were just talking about like, hey, do you remember how to do this part? And we're just, we're doing a lot of member berry moments. We're like, okay, remember to do this really quickly. Remember to do this part really quickly. And we're just like breezing the game. And I'm just like, oh man, that game is, like it's a little too much in your back of your brain. So we'll see.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me know when you get into Halo 2. I'll jump on with you.
I don't know if it's 4-player. I think it's Halo
Halo
3.
Still not
Halo-
4-player until 3, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
3 and up, yeah.
Yeah. So
Should have added that in Master Chief Collection.
yeah, I do hope they keep doing more support after
Right.
Halo Infinite. I do hope so because I think I see myself playing Master Chief Collection still, just for like, I don't know. If there's always somebody that wants to play Halo, the original ones again, I'm always down for it. Whatever excuse it is,
It's funny how everything just loops back around to Halo.
Stop talking about it till the end. I will. I promise, folks. I promise. Yeah. You know what? But it's good because there's a lot of other things to talk about that we should kind of talk about because I'm kind of happy with what Xbox is going for because last week Tokyo Game Show happened and I know they kind of said it's like more of a, they're like, hey, like just lower your expectations. They seem to say that all the time in every presentation. It seems like every time they're like, hey, you're just giving you a heads up. Don't get too excited and all that stuff. But I'm in the camp where it says, I think we had some exciting announcements happen for the Japanese audience. We had cloud streaming that officially is releasing in Japan, Australia, Mexico, and Brazil as of October 1st. I think even though the Tokyo Game Show was, like it didn't have like that E3 level or the, the Game Awards kind of level of like announcements, it was smart chess pieces, smart chess moves that just, everything just felt right. They hit on the portable gaming in Japan, which is huge. That's what everybody's playing. With xCloud, I still will always say xCloud. I think that's awesome. But then they also talked about more support from Japanese titles, and then we had the kind of like that crazy drop-in of Game Pass release of Scarlet Nexus, which I'm also going to try. I think this is all huge. I don't know what you guys think, but it might not be like those, the crowd-pleasing ones, but I felt like it was a very smart chess move from Microsoft. So like just some early moves that they're starting out.
Absolutely. I know what you're talking about. Like it's a subtle kind of announcement that doesn't seem as exciting until you kind of think about the future of it. Like all of these, bigger Japanese games and everything, that's going to pull them in, like launching in Mexico, Australia, Brazil, as well as Japan and everything. For xCloud, it's going to bring like a wider variety of like internet service providers and stuff too, and devices that it's supported on, and we're going to see a lot more testing and issues and solutions and a lot of growth over the next few years and everything, especially now that it's widened so much, and it's only going to end up in more countries too. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like the fact that the showcase are kind of more so like I guess, yeah, showcasing themselves to the Japanese audience, but I like the portable game angle they went with it. They even copied like Nintendo's like commercial. Did you see where they're like hanging out on a roof playing like playing
the
like
Switch commercial. Yeah.
yeah, it looked like a Switch commercial, but I feel like they really need to lean in onto the portable gaming aspect of xCloud because it works really good. Like it's kind of shocking how well it works. And I think there was an article out recently saying the number one input for Fortnite and PUBG is touch controls. So games like Scarlet Nexus that just released on Game Pass actually has full touch control to the game through the Game Pass app or the web browser, which I found the web browser one actually works a lot better.
Yeah.
But I was saying that. But it works great. Like I'm shocked how well the touch control works. And they also even go a step further with the touch control. So there's sometimes you have to kill bad guys and you have to press two buttons at the same time. You can't really do that with the touch control. So they actually add an extra button to the game that pops up when you're playing. So the touch controls is a total programmable thing. And it was just nice to see them leaning towards the portable aspect to it. And it feels so good. I was playing a lot of the Avengers, actually. I played about an hour of the Avengers on it, and it felt like I was playing on the Xbox, like on the one in my living room. It felt so the latency was so low that people in Brazil, like in territories where gaming is expensive, like Australia, gaming is expensive. Brazil, gaming is expensive, and getting these consoles is almost like you can't even dream of getting these consoles. So the fact that these guys can literally hook into a web browser and get the instant load time,
whatever, laptop or computer you got.
They can play Flight Simulator. They can play all these next-gen games. And if they can deal with the latency or if their connection is good enough, they got, especially in Japan, they got some of the best 5G network in the world. So I feel like it's going to thrive there, especially some of these like internet cafes they go to. I bet the like Wi-Fi 6 signal in there is just fantastic. Like
just jump on an Xbox game whenever you want and stuff.
Like that's
it's going to be exciting to see how they start to develop phones more around it and everything too, because they've had gaming phones in the past and everything. They've released them kind of here and there, and I'm sure that market's definitely going to grow. Like we'll probably end up seeing like a Google game phone at some point or something.
Oh, I'd love a slide-up phone. Like I would love something like the Xperia Play that came out years and years ago from Sony. That just kind of just slides up and is like its own like little cell phone. Or I would just like
shoulder
Microsoft
and stuff.
Or just Microsoft put like a Snapdragon 7 something chip inside there with like a nice little OLED screen and it slides up. Like give me that. Like I feel like they have an opportunity to be like it just streams. All it is a streaming handheld thing that can also play
Xbox phone. I'd buy one of those.
Games.
Yeah, X phone, X boy, whichever.
Yeah, like or something, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nice showcase for them, and I think they're going to do good things out there. They're very appealing. I feel like what they offer is super appealing right now, right?
Yeah.
Like Game Pass, you got the full Yakuza series on there. You got Scarlet and Nexus now on there. Somebody can just hop, like, for somebody in Japan, like, and one thing I was surprised they didn't announce is like a new tier for just streaming only for everyone, like a $5 a
not
month.
far off.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's far off. I don't think it's far off.
I think this is basically testing the waters for it. It's just like, let's see how much response we get in those countries,
because
on top of what they've already got from here. Yeah. And if you, and like $20 really isn't like the end of the world for like a pass like that. But yeah, if you could get it to Game Pass only and get it down to like $10 or something, or cheaper if possible.
$19.99 in Canada for us.
Yeah. Please.
So,
yeah. Even though I think we're gonna pay for the Ultimate Pass, but I see a lot of casual gamers really liking that. Because
I think if they do sell it as its standalone tier, games, see, they really need to just get rid of this gold requirement for online gaming, because Game Pass leans pretty hard into the service games. Like Avengers is a great example. I feel like it being on Game Pass is going to give it a lot of new life and a huge influx of players. Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass on PC in October now. That was just announced. So that's really big.
I think once Halo Infinite, I have a feeling they're going to be like, you know what I mean? They're going to say something like, we just need to drop gold or something. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think they're going to keep if there will be something tied to the campaign portion of Halo, like a Battle Royale. That will try and sell Game Pass more.
I feel like if they did get rid of gold, they'd have to swap it with like an equally priced Game Pass only. Because what that would do is, because like gold is necessary, because there's lots of families out there that can't quite afford an extra $10-15 a month or whatever that it's going to be for that. Xbox Live Gold is relatively cheap otherwise, because it's like $60 a year or whatever. So like it's like $5.99 or $6.99 or something for a month right now.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty darn cheap. And I think it might be a little more than that, but still, if you swap that with the Game Pass like only, then you could use that on your older console. So until they have the money to upgrade, because I mean, I was one of those families. I remember my parents just renting the consoles from Blockbuster and everything, because that's what we could.
But I would say their biggest games now, but gold is also coming more and more relevant, because their biggest games now don't even require it, like Fortnite, Warzone, Halo Infinite's not going to require gold. The only games that will actually require gold is these full price games like Call of Duty's multiplayer portion, or anything that has a multiplayer attached to it. And I'm just like, just get rid of it. I feel like if you replace it with a stream only tier, because they can be like, okay, look, we can lose gold, but as soon as we lose gold, or we can say, hey, we are converting everyone who has gold into cloud streaming only, and we're taking away games with gold. So games with gold will go away, because they'll be like, look, you're paying the same price, that $5 tier, to get access to that library, but it's not the downloadable version of that library. It's the streamed in version of that library.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the higher tier up that is full downloadable to your console. And then the next tier up.
And you're talking about like, get rid of gold and have just online for all games. Don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And replace that $5
even better
tier gold with just like a stream only tier. So you'd be like, look, all your games are free, and now you can say your games with gold is these Game Pass games that we're giving you through the cloud.
And that would be amazing if you could try out all the games that you wanted to actually pay for and download and everything. When you find the ones that you really like that are really worth it, then you can spend that money on top of getting to test them out and play them fully if you want.
Yeah, and you can say the next tier after that would allow you to physically download, well, like the tier it is now, but also adds the monthly perks and really reamp the perk system, and also gives you access to Microsoft Reward quests. So let's say the things you don't get with that stream only tier is you don't get Microsoft Reward quests, you don't get physical downloads to your console, and yeah.
Are you sure you're not already working for Xbox's marketing department?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, hey, Josh, we should, what's up with it?
This is well thought out.
Yeah. I was like,
actually, it's fine. Well thought. I just thought about it. So.
Yeah.
You get an account, to run the numbers, and you'll be golden.
Here's the charts. Yeah.
And just convert everyone who's in gold to this and be like, hey, look, we'll give you the next 3 months. Or convert anyone who has their time into that tier. Yeah,
Sounds
because
good.
if they bought a couple years of gold and they have it applied to their account, where they'll be like, well, here's this for a while.
Yeah.
So, no.
Maybe Phil Spencer can talk about that, because he also talked about the increase in the Japanese game lineup. Says they have over 200 developers working on the ID program in Japan alone for Xbox ID. Hey, that's great. I don't think I heard that number way before. That's a pretty large number. How great is it to see them taking this market very serious? I know they kept saying it's very serious, but it finally feels like maybe now the chips are moving in. And how do we think Game Pass and having a smaller console, the Series S, makes them very appealing to the Japanese audience? What do you guys think?
Well,
I think,
Dan,
a lot like we were talking about before. It's just like it's going to open up so much more for Game Pass, and like just seeing the lineup and all the Japanese games that are going to come out of it. There's so many Japanese developers that, like, you can see there, it has over 200 developers already.
Yeah.
Well, and what I'm excited about is just original ideas coming out of that marketplace. Like we were talking a couple episodes about the Korean market, how we're getting really interesting games coming out of there, like that Wuhan game that looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's from an indie developer as well, right? So when they say 200 indie developers, I think we're going to get some pretty interesting stuff out of that. And like we were saying in the last topic, it is a super appealing offering with the cloud streaming, the Game Pass, and the Series S console. Like that tiny little console is fantastic, especially for the tinier spaces in Japan. And remember when we talked about that screen that plugs onto the back that you can get? Like, what better than a tiny, like, little apartment with that just attached to it with your Xbox controller playing? So I think they have, they have the best opportunity right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's no better opportunity than now, because one, they offer the cheapest experience, they offer the high-end experience, and they also offer, well, they even offer the cheaper experience with just the cloud streaming. So if they can just get them in there, and like if as a Japanese, well, not as a but for a Japanese developer, the fact that it'd be like, okay, I can make this next gen game, and everyone can play it on their phone too. Like, like that's awesome. Like, how can you not like want that? And another thing with them taking that market serious is they're doing full Japanese localization and voiceover support for huge titles like Redfall and Starfield. Like, that's going to be a big deal, especially Starfield, in my opinion. That's going to be a huge deal. So, and I think that has a lot to do with Tango GameWorks in Japan and them using their studio. But, yeah, we'll talk about Tango in a bit.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Like they Starfield has like more dialogue than any of their games combined, from what I'm told. It was like they have like thousands
Like,
of hours. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so um also I think maybe that was maybe the smarter move because, like I guess they don't have just yet a AAA Japanese game made that's completely an Xbox exclusive just yet. And I think maybe this is kind of like a smart move right now.
Definitely going to be an on its way.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
it's on.
I'm excited to see how they develop the technology too. It's just going to push more for the game engines and like the physics design, the art styles, the like story-driven gameplay and everything. It's all going to come back to Microsoft, and it's just going to end up developing our games better. We're going to get better techniques and better options, and being able to see how they make the code more efficient for their games and applying it to other games as well. It's going to be awesome.
I also secretly hope that we can get the Japanese localization because I'd love to play like Halo Infinite with like a Japanese version of Master Chief, talking. I just want to hear that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be funny. I just think it'd be cool.
Yeah, he'd sound badass, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's doing Master Chief's voice in Japan.
Yeah. Or Cortana. You know what I mean? Just,
it's always interesting to hear the differences between like the voices and the portrayals and how it kind of changes the feel of the game or movie or whatever it is.
But, back to like the appealing factor for them, like especially as a parent, and Dan, like you know this too, like buying a console for your kids, let's say, and then knowing that you can just get Game Pass and they're set. Like you don't have to worry about like buying games for your kids. I remember like when we were kids, like we only got like one game, and that was at like Christmas or your birthday, and like good luck for the rest of the year. And that game had to last you.
Yeah. Maybe if you have a summer job, then you buy your own.
Spoiled now. This year I've played the most games I've ever played in my entire life. I've beaten the most games I think I've ever in my entire life.
Yeah.
In such a short like span since Game Pass came out.
Well, like I've had Game Pass since its inception, like since it's released. I think it's been like almost 3 years, but this year has been nuts. Like this year has been nuts.
Yeah.
So
there's even more to look forward to.
Yeah.
And like it's unheard of. Buy a console and you have all these games just like right off the bat. Like that's unheard of.
Or don't buy a console. Use your phone and have access to all of your games. That's the way.
The cloud syncing is just amazing. It works so good between PC, like in-game client, like on your laptop version, and then the cloud, and then your console. Everything just syncs like just seamlessly. It's crazy. It's funny because people are like, Xbox has no games. I'm like, well, once you get into this ecosystem and you're kind of floating between the three, you see where
those games are.
You see the appeal of this. So it's funny.
Yeah. And we could also, moving on, talk about a potentially new game that could be coming. Yeah, but obviously it's coming. Tango GameWorks, which is owned by Microsoft. They are working on a brand new property with the Evil Within director. I believe it's the Evil Within director 2. He's leading the project. Who's played Evil Within, by the way? And what would you want to see out of this property? Or do you think they're just going to stick to their bread and butter as horror? What do you guys think?
I don't know, Dan. What do you think? Would you want a horror game? Something to scare you?
I think they'll probably stick with horror. I mean, I don't think we've seen a huge amount of horror games kind of going on currently in the Xbox universe. There's been a few, but there's a couple coming. But I could see like another evil game like that, and especially with like Shinji Mikami. I'm not great at pronouncing his name yet, but he's just been he's had a hand in a whole ton of games. There was Resident Evil. He was into Capcom for a while, like a bunch of other studios and stuff. Did some stuff on Fallout 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah, it's great. Phoenix Wright, Steel Battalion, which was a game I loved when I was a kid. God Hand, like my PlayStation friends love that game. Yeah, Devil May Cry. You know,
Yeah.
list goes on.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think the
and
horror
my
action,
personal
whatever.
favorite, Vanquish.
Oh, that's my
Yeah.
favorite game too.
Vanquish was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah,
I remember you just telling me to play that. You're like, it won't even take that long, but
yeah,
it's so fun.
Yeah,
one
it's like
sitting.
4 hours. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
beat it
one
in
Yeah.
one
sitting.
sitting. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
god.
didn't know he was in Platinum Games. There's a Platinum Games game I
Oh
played.
yeah, dude. He worked on Vanquish. I think he worked on Bayonetta a bit as well.
So good.
What a
It's
So
good.
just
this
like
guy,
an adrenaline rush in a sitting. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
this guy has
quite the
a
credentials.
yeah, definitely a resume. So personally, a part of me is just like, give me a Vanquish game. Like, give me
Yeah.
another Vanquish game. So I'm very curious what. So we know the project lead is not him. It's the guy who made The Evil Within.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think they're gonna go the horror route again. Horror is picking up, Dan. You're saying?
Now that you mention it, like imagine a horror game made Vanquish style in like chapters or something.
You're
We could call it.
Like
Yeah, it sounds like a Gears game in the making.
yeah,
monster.
just like
Yeah.
chapter one, like yeah, it's just super fast paced. Like you're just bolting through like a castle or something and destroying vampires, whatever. And like yeah, just like chapter one ends, it's like chapter two, you get like a whole different environment, whole different place, some different enemies, and like I could see that taking off. Episodic like gaming or something a little more. Like
Oh yeah.
Telltale's. Like it's already around. It'd just
Mhm.
be about like yeah, accomplishing something super fast paced. That would be awesome. But who knows what they'll put together.
Well, they're working on that Ghostwire Tokyo for PlayStation, so
Is
we'll
that a
get that.
horror game though?
Not
That
really.
doesn't look like a horror game.
It seems. I don't think it'll be.
Like a
It'll be a
dark
little
action.
bit more fast, but that game must be content complete at this point, where they're just because it comes out early next year, so we'll get it early 2003.
Yeah.
But they must be concepting something else with him. Like Phil must have like had a conversation and was like, "Yo, you're Shinji Mikami. Like, let's make something like crazy. Like, let's make something crazy." And that's what I want. Like, I want the balls to the wall, just off the chain, absurd Shinji Mikami game, like a Vanquish. Give me that right now into my veins. I need it. So I'm
Jesus.
so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Tango is part of Microsoft,
Yeah.
and I think that also gives them a lot of, back to the whole like kind of theme that we've been talking about. The appeal of Xbox is, Shinji Mikami running that studio, pretty much, well, not owning the studio, but being the lead of that studio, makes them very appealing, right? Like, they have a full studio they can bring people down to do stuff in. I bet a lot of voice work happens in that studio. Collaborations, having almost like a liaison in Japan is good. His connection to the development world in Japan as well. So I think the fact that they have those 200 indie developers on has to do with Tango GameWorks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like him talking about Microsoft and how good they've been to him.
I have an inkling that they are working, like Microsoft is working on a series of games that are going to be like xCloud ready, like designed for the cloud and everything. And I think the launch in Japan and everything, as well as the like nab of this studio, is probably like more leading towards that, if nothing else. Like it can't be totally coincidental that they're just like, yeah, we're just launching xCloud over in Japan and everything here, and then we're just going to grab a game studio too.
Well, a lot of people. Well, isn't that Hideo Kojima game? The whole reason he wanted to work with Microsoft is because he wants to make a cloud-based game.
Yeah, because it was who was it originally? Was it
Stadia.
Stadia, right?
Yeah,
And that was
he was
more.
working with Stadia before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he comes out on the Game Awards and announce something like that, and that is something that's already pre-existing in that market,
Yeah.
I'm very curious what their numbers are after October 1st. Now that that became available in all those different markets, because there's a lot of like people will be like, well, one, they must have promotions like sign up for $1 for 3 months.
Yeah.
So the curiosity factor of people just like downloading it, be like, I hear all these people talk about it all the time. You know, us. I remember when the States got it first, and I'm like, oh god damn, I want to try it. Like,
Right.
usually Canada gets like those betas at the same time, but not this time.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm
not.
still waiting for DC's comic streaming service.
Yeah, right. Like,
It's supposed to have come like 4 or 5 years now or something ago.
Yeah.
How are these streaming services supposed to compete against Disney and Netflix? Especially like Netflix. Like the issue with like Disney, the reason you will never beat Netflix is because you will never make a show like Squid Games. They do such good international stuff. Shows like Dark or other great foreign. Oh man, there was this great horror one about this lady. She's like floating. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But there's great international stuff and there's great anime stuff on Netflix.
Yeah,
and I feel like
animated, just like even just animated international stuff. Like I know there was like a great show out of Mexico not that long ago. There was
Narcos was also huge. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Terrace, I think it's pronounced, and it's a crazy like dark animation show and everything too that looked really good. I watched a little bit of that.
But back to this is something Microsoft can learn from Netflix.
Exactly.
Lean into the localization. Take advantage of Tango Game Studios, a full studio, because get as many games as you can, especially out of Xbox first party. They should all be localized to, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, Indian. Even give me a Scottish version, like.
Yeah, you just make it more.
So we need to see Master Chief speaking Gaelic. Yeah,
I think that is worth it. You know what? I even feel like buy a whole studio. I guarantee you. And going back to Netflix, listening to their dub stuff is really good. They must own a whole studio house that is just completely devoted to dubbing their stuff.
Yep.
And also describe video. So there's some shows like Oliver and Elise will watch that have no talking in it, and I don't like that. So we'll turn on describe video, and the describe video will be this like sweet sounding lady and be like, oh, he comes out of his door and sits down on the floor, but at least like they're retaining something instead of just like just seeing it. So I think an investment in a whole localization house would be worth it for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good for Microsoft, diversifying their portfolio. Speaking of Game Pass, we did talk a little bit about it before, but they decided to go crazy on September 30th with, in addition to 6 titles and this, I think it might be one of like the best days of Game Pass history. Just having like a ton of games. I mean, actually, I would say it's as good as that Bethesda and Xbox announcement where they're like, and here's a bunch of games on Game Pass. And I was like, oh, this is like a mini version, but also just as good because it's like completely games that I wanted to buy. You know what I mean? Or games that just came out like Scarlet Nexus and so on. Yeah. Of those 6, what did you guys, like out of the list, and what are you currently all playing out of those releases?
Well, yeah, the September 30th, a bunch of shadow drops. So we got Scarlet Nexus. We got the
Avengers.
Avengers. Yeah, we had a couple days notice on that. We also got Mighty Goose, Astria Ascending, which looks like an interesting side-scrolling RPG.
Yeah.
And there's 2 other titles on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's also one that I kind of want to check out. It just came out a couple of days after. It was on October 1st. Phoenix Point. Have you guys heard of that one? It's like a turn-based FPS. Or I think it's like a turn-based.
No, it's like a XCOM
Yeah.
style game.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
the Insomnia Files.
Yep.
That game. I think, and this another game. I think Dan, your wife, would like this game. It's like you're investigating stuff. It's very anime. Yeah, it looks interesting. Give that game. I think we all should give that game a chance, just for the type of game it is.
Yeah.
I'm installing it now. We should all just play it and put a review out for it, just because we want weird stuff like that. Keep on giving us like weird stuff. So I'm into it.
Yep. What's that game again?
Insomnia Files.
Insomnia Files?
It has like a weird
know about that for
poster,
sure.
but you'll be like, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's apparently a twist at the end that is super interesting. So
it was all a dream.
yeah, like September 30th, I felt like a person like throwing games at me, and I was just like, stop.
I know.
I want to play you all, but I have
What's
children
worse
and I work.
is October is going to be a great freaking month. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Josh, Dan, like, think about it. You got in about October 12th, Back for Blood. You know, I call that Left 4 Dead 3, in my opinion. That's Left 4 Dead 3, essentially, coming on day one Game Pass. Day one, that's going to be crazy. There's a game called The Rift Breaker that I've been looking at. It looks really cool. It's kind of like it's like an over the top. It's like a twin stick shooter, but it also has like other like building. It also has like strategy components to it too. Like you can actually build.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously we all know what's going to come in like November and December and all that stuff. But oh yeah, it's looking really good. And then there's also the early access to Battlefield 2042, which is going to be pretty huge as well. So
yeah,
I'm
excited for that.
And that's just the first like little bit. I think that's
there's still more
up till like October 12th. So
yeah,
they always drop like the first 2 weeks and then the last 2 weeks of Game Pass. So we could get even like crazier stuff. Man, we could get Battlefield. Like
I think we're gonna get that. I actually think we're gonna get that.
So
it feels like Microsoft has just made such a good like deal on like Game Pass. There's no way developers are really saying no to it. It's just about when's Microsoft going to offer me a place on there.
Yeah. If Battlefield comes out, I will buy the Battle Pass just to be like, this worked.
Yeah.
Like, but look what it did for Destiny 2. But one thing I do want to give kudos to Microsoft for getting their crap together with PC releasing simultaneous. So now we're finally getting Destiny 2 onto the service on PC. But it feels like the last like 3 months, every release, except for maybe like occasional like one title. And sometimes that title will be skewed to the PC side only. Like Mankind was only on PC. But we've been getting the same titles releasing day and date on the PC. And it seems to be continuous. Like Avengers, you can download on the PC Game Pass. You can download Scarlet Nexus on the PC Game Pass. Games you would not expect, like those 2 titles, to be playable. I think after the really poor reception they got for what was that game, Outriders, not being simultaneous release of PC. Well, it never came to PC Game Pass, but not being a simultaneous release, people did not like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been really good. It's been really. And I always keep an eye when they pull out that picture to see. I'm like, does each one say PC as well? And it does.
Yeah.
Back for Blood,
awesome.
PC as well,
which is good.
Like, Halo Infinite coming out for PC.
Yeah.
On Game Pass.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm also in the camp where I think what we're gonna get is like also a few maybe like January or February games that like are also AAA titles that might be like a sneaky Game Pass move, like a nice little like, just like completely out of nowhere. Because I can see Microsoft also thinking about staggering a lot, and they're just looking at each month like sustainability and all that stuff because they're probably trying to go for that Netflix model, right? Because right now this holiday looks amazing, but what about January, February, March? And I'm guessing maybe some games will be maybe they'll have like a Game Pass release 4 or 5 months later. Like when did Scarlet Nexus come out? Like I think like 4 or 5 months
ago.
So maybe something like that happens with something from the fall. I'm also thinking that it could happen like that as well.
And,
Maybe.
and also games that have marketing deals with Sony. So you can say like the Avengers had a marketing deal with Sony. And you notice Avengers like came out like almost a date a year later. So there's definitely a clause.
Yeah, you're right about that because it was
Because it came out on PlayStation Now like a couple months ago as well.
Yeah.
So it's on both.
Yeah.
Services.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Good. It's good. Good announcements. Speaking of, well, this is not a really good announcement for me, but
I don't know. I think this is a good announcement.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk.
Okay. All right. Well,
announce the announcement.
Okay. Well, okay, folks. Ubisoft, the most tone deaf developer. I'm just kidding. They're doing another Battle Royale, and this time it's from a Tom Clancy property. Ghost Recon Frontline. This is the third Tom Clancy game announced, and still no Splinter Cell, whatever. I don't want to say that crap anymore because I'm tired about the Splinter Cell stuff. This is what Ubisoft said.
He'll be a DLC pack in this game.
Oh yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Voiced by Michael Ironside, please. The game features an advanced class system and a large set of tactical support tools, allowing for complete freedom and strategic gameplay with multiple ways to outsmart enemy teams and win each match. Build your roster of elite contractors from all around the globe. Explore Drakemore Mount Island, a massive hostile open world that demands quick adaptation and teamwork to survive. Join forces with your friends through full cross-platform support and enjoy fun and collaborative competitive across various game modes. Okay, well, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to have long legs or fade away like Hyperscape? Completely fun fact, guys. I don't know if I told you this, but I auditioned for Hyperscape as one of the game models, by the way. I'm not lying. As one of the things my agents... I can send you the... wait, I don't know if I should say that. I might get in shit for that. Yeah. Okay, but I did. Who cares? I didn't get the role, so I can say that.
We're going to put it on here.
Yeah. Everybody send...
Piece of shit game.
Yeah. Fuck that game. Yeah.
Oh my god!
But okay, yeah. What do we think of Ubisoft doubling down on free-to-play games after that great announcement of X Defiant? Do you guys remember that announcement of that game called X Defiant? Do you think Ubisoft is listening to their fans?
Well, I feel like this is the first free-to-play Ubisoft title that actually seems to be catering to their fans, right? Like we got Hyper. Who gives a shit about Hyperscape? And then we are getting X Defiant. Who cares about X Defiant? They're like, it's Tom Clancy with punk rock. I'm like, all right, man, this is brutal. And then they showed this today. I'm like, yeah, oh, this looks like Ghost Recon. Okay, I'm in. Let's do this. I'm like, what better property for a battle royale than Ghost Recon?
Yeah,
I'm surprised. Honestly, it's taken this long, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Wildlands was a good game and everything, and the maps, all I could kind of picture was just like these would be the perfect types of maps for like a battle royale type match. Like have a bunch of guys running through here and taking out towns and stuff, and like stealing vehicles, smashing through NPCs. I feel like it would be awesome to have a nice like battle royale game with some real NPCs in there and everything too. Have like a whole pile of extra dudes in there that you could sneak through and get actual like some stealth gameplay in there too, because just leave the tags off and everything, and everybody's an enemy.
Well, I think they have a good opportunity with the Rainbow. I feel like they have a really good opportunity with this particular property to go more into the tactical based go more on the tactical side of a shooter for Battle Royale. It'd be nice if you have to be like sneaky and really use like your equipment to check around you. There's no just. I feel like every Battle Royale tries to go so off the wall crazy. Even like Call of Duty's getting there with the action hero stuff. No, make this as hardcore as you can for that audience, and really carve out your part of like carve out your piece of the pie that it makes yourself unique. Be like, oh, let's play Ghost Recon Battle Royale because it is hyper realistic. But it feels like a good game too. It's tactical as well. You can't just like there's some clips I've seen of Warzone where people are like jumping out the window and then going down and then running around the thing and then coming back in and then like it's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's almost stupid.
Just kind of silly, point. Like comical, yeah.
Where I want to see like shootouts happen that feel like realistic shootouts.
Crazy. Yeah, like some of those battles we get in Battlefield.
Yeah. They're that Rainbow Six game's got a big audience. It's a massive audience. So maybe they'll do this one right. We'll see.
I hope so.
It's just that every time, sometimes, this is just my opinion about Ubisoft, every time they do something really right, then they do it over again, like 10 times in a row, and don't do anything interesting this is just my opinion, because I've been playing Ubisoft games and I've stopped playing for like the last 4 or 5 years. They'll do something really good, and then they'll make every other game just exactly like it, and then it just gets so mundane or something. Or they also just get like really tone deaf with like, I don't know, just something about whatever, like their game or something like that. Like
X Defiant, where it's punk rock with Tom Clancy, like tone deaf shit like that.
But they've done that before. I mean, I have a weird, controversial opinion, but like, I loved Prince of Persia when I was a kid. I loved Sands of Time because I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I kind of didn't like the whole like emo goth. Yeah, like the dark version of that. How they went.
The third one.
Yeah, or the second one, I think, or was it The Warrior Within or something like that? Yeah. I remember being like, but that was the thing with them. It's like they do something that they think is cool at the moment, and then they'll like double down.
Edgy.
Yeah, like it's like they're listening with the kids. You know what I mean? Like that's Ubisoft in a I don't know. That's just, there's something about Ubisoft that does it.
I miss the Ubisoft who made the Prince of Persia game that was that cell shaded game. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was a beautiful game. Oh, yeah. I remember that one. That was a beautiful game.
I love that game if it was backwards. I don't know if it's backwards compat, but it was fantastic. Yeah. That's the Ubisoft I like.
Yeah, it was
Ubisoft that makes games like Immortal Phoenix Rising. Too bad they fucking decided to come out with 3 open world games in the span of 1 month. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. And that's their problem. I'm telling you, like sometimes I feel like they gotta listen, or they like, I don't know, they have this weird like feedback thing where they just like, oh, you like that? Well, let's just do it again, but like all the time.
These shareholders.
Yeah, they're whatever. I mean, the whole free to play thing that they're doing looks like it's also pleasing shareholders too, right? So,
see, that's the nice thing with Microsoft having these companies. Yes, they have to please shareholders, but man, they make so much more money everywhere else that they're like, yeah, you can take 5 years on this game.
That's true. We'll see. All right. Well,
I'm excited, to be honest.
Yeah. No, you know what?
I will try it. If there's a free to play, if there is a property that fits Battle Royale out of all the Tom Clancy properties, it's Ghost Recon, right? I feel like they never really carved off. Yeah. Like even when
I was surprised they didn't do that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, and even when they've tried to do their own multiplayer, like a versus multiplayer, it works. But I feel like this has a kind of a great opportunity to be a very well implemented Battle Royale game.
Yeah, to really launch and like take that whole community with it and everything. Yeah, I think they could do well as long as they do it right.
Yeah. But if they ever wanted to make like like if there was a market for them to make like a third-person stealth action adventure game, there's also a property. It's called Splinter Cell, and like
Yeah.
You could just get on that.
we could
Yeah.
just get on that. Like you get the Last of Us money. You want that Last of Us money, but maybe in like a modern setting. I don't know.
Give me Spies versus Mercs again, like please.
That was a great, yeah. That was a
Like,
great
it was
game.
so good. Oh, and I remember this. So the best iteration of it, I forget. I think it was in Pandora Tomorrow or something.
Yeah,
like
it did debut in Pandora Tomorrow. Actually, it came out
Did
in the
it
second
debut?
one.
So
Yeah, it was in the second game. Yeah,
it was the second version of Spy versus Mercs, where you could hack the terminals remotely instead of having to go right up to it.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
and then I think the one that I started really just being like, this might be the most like abundance of great features was Chaos Theory, where it was like you had a great single player, you also had a separate co-op, and you had a great multiplayer, and I was like, holy moly, all that for a $60 game. You know what I mean? Like these kids now, they don't know like what value was back in the day. That was Ubisoft that I loved.
Oh, yeah. And they did co-op. They were like the first ones to do co-op where you actually had to help somebody like pull them up and like you needed each other to do interesting things. What a cool.
Now it's an NPC.
What is that? Like and bring back classic versions. Don't bring back this action-packed like.
Michael Ironside, please.
Understand Ubisoft. Understand your audience. Like, please, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Speaking of understanding your audience, we got some more news on the accessibility showcase.
Oh, yeah. A little feel-good story.
Yeah.
Well, I think I like this because Xbox constantly seems to be listening, and Microsoft is doing this. They had an accessibility showcase with community members highlighting what they have achieved and what they are going to do in the future to make things more inclusive for people who have disabilities. I just can't say this more enough. This is obviously it's overdue. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of gamers that have been missing out on a lot of games, and just something as simple features. This is just great. I think there's a new game accessibility feature called Tags. It's built into the Microsoft Store. To earn these tags, developers have to hit key features. These features are good for everyone, not just for and how they are industry leaders in accessibility. I think I said it before, but I also know that Sony's also doing a great job and Nintendo's doing a great job. But I think Microsoft seems to really, want to champion for that. So
yeah, I think they want to be known as the place for inclusive gaming, because like having a disability, like I personally don't have a physical disability or anything like that, but knowing that a game is catering for you to make the life is tough, man, and have something like a video game not be accessible for you, and when that thing becomes accessible for you, it's therapeutic. Like it must be, it must feel great to know that, I can play this game because they, actually gave a shit about a person, who has a disability.
It opens the world so much more for everybody, really. And just like, especially the way they've designed everything, the way that they're working their controller, like you can kind of see the controller right in the center there. What you can't see is on the back side, all along the top there's just like a bunch of different inputs. So you can customize the controller and everything too. You can see some of the other accessories they've got there. So Logitech even launched a whole line of accessories for that controller. So you can get extra like clips and stuff. There's extra large buttons and everything just for making it more accessible to everyone. And that just broadens our game accessibility for us too, because it just means like better developed games, better developed tools for the games, and just actually including everyone tends to make it a much better experience all around. I even noticed on the inside, the Xbox Inside membership and everything, where you get to test out all of these new games and actually try out some of these. There was options to input that you have the accessibility controller and options to test on more accessible games and everything.
Yeah.
So it's,
and I like Oh, sorry. And
That's right. It's great
yeah.
to see them just including everyone. I have got like friends and family and everything who've got those sort of things, coworkers and everything too. That I'm sure, yeah, struggle to use the standard controller and everything, and it just makes it a great option.
And like I said, not just for, and I feel like the features is not just for like disabled people, like the fact that, you know, people getting older, like
Yeah.
making that font bigger is never a bad thing. And I feel like they're
Yeah.
pushing a bigger font because of that. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like it's good just for everyone as well. And, you know, representation does, in my opinion, it does matter. And having more people playing games, especially where things, it must feel for some people like the whole world is inaccessible, and to make that space accessible, and that space is so broad. You can go anywhere you want. You can fly a plane across the
Yeah.
world. You can become a superhero.
Go into space, climb a
Yeah,
mountain, like
Yeah. Absolutely.
like
Just important.
I was
yeah,
I was amazed at how much just VR opened up stuff for me,
exactly.
let alone how much gaming opens up for absolutely everybody. It's
Oh,
surprising to me when I find someone who doesn't have any interest in video games, and it's never that hard to find a game that they're interested in.
no, exactly. Like my wife right now, she's upstairs in VR chat,
Yeah.
just hanging out with friends.
So
Great.
cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My wife's totally into the whole VR realm, so yeah,
Ah.
she's in that world.
That's cool. That's cool.
But
All
yeah,
right.
accessibility matters.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the tags, and the way you have to earn the tags is you have to hit those requirements. So
Good. Good for Microsoft for
Cool.
doing that. Yeah.
yeah, no,
Okay.
and this, it goes back to the theme of the show, Andrew. The theme, the appeal of Xbox, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
ELX, guys. Everybody love Xbox. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It makes things a lot more appealing, for sure.
No, I actually agree. This is important, and it's obviously, and it's also overdue. So, and I'm glad, be forward thinking. We should close up the episode with our final thing that we got to talk about because, well,
Yeah.
this,
Well, we
Sorry.
keep on saying we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it,
we're
right?
going to talk about it. Yeah. But
We'll
yeah, it's
talk about
we're going to talk about this small little indie team called 343 making a small little indie game called Halo Infinite, and they just wanted to see how if like a few people can play Halo Infinite Flight, their little multiplayer beta, which it's just very nice to show that like a small team really cares about the average person. But yeah, now that
they gave it to such a small team to
know.
franchise like Halo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And giving it to as many people as they can. But now that the Infinite Flight test is officially done and we got our hands on it, what do we think about it? Because I remember you, Josh, saying that you're not going to play it till the game comes out, and then you kind of switched on this. And I also was actually about to join you on that, but then something kind of clicked where I was like, okay, I just want to play a little bit. I think it was the YouTube clips that I was watching. I was just like, let me just play one, and then Dan, you got it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play with you, but let's talk about everything. I want everyone to talk about this, but what do we think about the gameplay? Because I think that part is like at core, it's like like
It is the game.
The game.
Yep.
What do we think of the art direction? The equipment, the new guns, especially in the training mode. What do we think? And also, what did not like about it?
Well,
I think
I'll let you guys go first because I'll probably be long-winded on this one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We'll start from the top there. I think the gameplay was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, it's just an example of the multiplayer, but the features, you can see where they're getting inspiration from some of the other games like Call of Duty and everything. Like they've got these little vaults kind of hidden all over now. Some are a little easier to get to, some are a little more difficult to get to, and they're all...
That's in Warzone? That's in more so like Warzone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Warzone. You can go and you can get into the vaults and everything. You can enter a few codes here or there and, get into the bunkers and really, like, clean house on all those weapons. And it adds a nice little interesting, like, break in the gameplay, too. Like, if you're over and over again trying to just grab the flag and get back, and you find that's not working well enough, like head over to one of the vaults, start hacking it and everything. It's kind of like a mini game in itself because you got to guard that point for a little bit. And more than once, I had a guy just like pop up from around the corner, like, is somebody over there working on that vault?
Yeah.
Like, sure enough, I got to battle them to the death now to keep my vault. They're just waiting for me to like open it up so they can run out and smash me in the back of the head or something and grab all my loot. But it's nice because, yeah, you get some decent power-ups in there. You go running out and all armored to the teeth, and more often than not, I ended up just collapsing from gunshot wounds and trying to use my weapons. But it was fun to get like a good, powerful weapon and pop out there and just start taking guys out and get a kill streak or two.
Game feels really good.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, everything what you just said. I will say it does feel, especially this one, feels more Call of Duty than ever before. I've noticed the last, like, ever since 343 have started making the Halo games, they all kind of had this little feeling of like they were going to a bit more like a modern take. Like, there's still that classic Halo vibes, but I've noticed there's just been like this kind of like this rise of it being a little bit more like, you know, Call of Duty-ish. So I'm still kind of like, there's a part of me, I'm a little annoyed about it, but I'm also like, maybe it's just also it's a 20-year-old game, so they got to make some updates, right? You just have to think about that, I guess, maybe. I do want to say something. I love the art direction because I wasn't really liking how Halo 5 looked at sometimes. Like, I thought it visually I was not as interested in Halo. Yeah, it just looked a little too much. I kind of want Halo to have a little bit of a, I just want that kind of a different palette for Halo. And I think Infinite, maybe they've listened to it. I think when they had that like little like feedback, I think it was because they were trying to go for a different look and maybe they weren't achieving it when it was so raw. But I'm starting to really like how Halo Infinite looks. It kind of...
I feel like they hit that where with 4 and 5, they really kind of went a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this kind of hit that nice middle ground.
I think, and it was overdue. I think they knew that. I think they had a feeling because what ended up happening was that like in 4 they were kind of whatever, and then 5 they really doubled down on that visual. And I remember just being like, just something's off. It just doesn't feel like a Halo game in my head. And just by the eye test, I remember looking at it. This one looks like Halo. It does feel like Halo, and it feels pretty good. But there's some parts where I'm just kind of like, I don't know. The multiplayer right now at the moment, it just, the new guns, I do need to get used to it. I do like the whole training mode. I have to say...
The gun training really helped me with that, because I was really off with the spike gun, like the harpoon, basically. I was having an issue getting where I needed to aim for that, and running through and getting like all 3 stars on all 3 sessions of the gun training really helped with my aim on that and a lot of the skill there. So I think that's a cool feature.
Yeah, and the other feature that I know they talked about it briefly, but I actually think this is an important feature was bots, because I actually really like the idea of bots. I was really into bots when I was a kid, especially when I played Counter-Strike. So
they're half decent bots too.
Yeah, and they're pretty good.
I found once in a while I started to actually struggle against them. Like I was getting into a groove at some points, and then there was some points where it was actually a little more, they were getting clever, and they seemed to be at least half decent on the AI side.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? There's 4 different difficulty sliders for those bots, and the third one is already pretty overwhelming. I think the third one is ODST, I think, or
whatever. ODST and then Spartan.
Yeah, the Spartan was impossible because they were just, I don't know how they were. I was just like, what the hell? Like, it just felt like I was facing like, like a bunch of keyboard and mouse players for and they were just on this crazy ride. But
robot aim.
Yeah, but I will say I was really I actually like that inclusion of that, because I could see myself like maybe having like a custom game with like us, like us 4 and maybe like, 8 bots or something on like a big team battle or something like that. That like I just realized
like a horde mode or something. Like when you're getting wave after wave and
like I see the chapter of this game, and I do see its legs being really long. That's what I think, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy. What about you, Josh, Mister? You got something else to say?
Well, I liked it. It's a lot of fun. It feels like Halo. I don't know where you guys are getting the Call of Duty stuff. Maybe because they slide now, but it doesn't feel like, in my opinion, Call of Duty.
I think the Call of Duty feeling is a bit symptomatic of the like engine and just physics as they've been updated and everything. Like
What?
it just
Like the
well, I just mean
Okay.
like how the engine works and everything. Like we're not playing on a super old system that has very limited kind of physics in it and everything. You kind of have to, like as they develop that and it becomes more realistic, just all games are going to start to feel more realistic because that's kind of the goal.
That's true. But it still feels like Halo. The guns they need tuning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They don't feel as sticky as Halo 5. Actually, like, so as I think I was saying this earlier to you guys, but I kind of, so Halo 2, I played a ton of Halo 2 multiplayer, like a ton of Halo 2, a crap ton, like years of my life of Halo 3, then fell off a bit of Reach, and then fell off 4. Multiplayer didn't play that much, but 5 actually really got me back into Halo multiplayer. I love Halo 5 multiplayer. And it's so funny, like, listening to all these people talk about it over the weekend. They're like, they added this and sliding and all these things. I'm like, these actually, like, there's some things that have been removed now from the sandbox, like the dash button or the ground pound or the shoulder pound. And
I did
I
enjoy
feel
a
like
lot of those.
I
and I just
yeah.
and I just feel like the guns felt better in Halo 5. Like the Promethean guns felt really good. I feel like they really got the swing of things with the Promethean guns,
I
especially.
feel like they had a touch more aim assist too, because like a lot of what I remember from a long time ago was training to get that aim assist kind of working for you so that you could get it at the body and kind of aim up just a little bit to grab the head. And there was a touch less of aim assist on this where it would follow them just a little bit less. And I don't know. It could just be
I
me
felt
getting
like
old
I
and
was
rusty
missing my
too.
shit. Like, I was starting to get my flow later down the road.
Yeah.
And mind you, I only played for about an hour and a half, and I started, like, things started kind of feeling a lot better. But in my opinion, it's no more better than Halo 5. Like, I don't find it to be that much different. If anything, like I was saying, I feel like we gotten some things taken away. We do got the return of equipment, which is really nice.
Yeah, the grappling
But
hook is super fun. I
the
do love
grappling
me
hook,
some
super
grappling
fun.
hook.
there are additions that are really awesome. But
Yeah.
like, if you guys have never played, and anyone listen, if you guys loved Halo Infinite beta weekend, go play Halo 5 right now. You will like that game. That game plays very much like Halo Infinite, and you actually get like really interesting game modes like Warzone. Like, oh, I want to see Warzone 2.0.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Warzone was awesome.
so I hope they, because they've barely even talked about the campaign package of the thing. And if they're selling the campaign, like, this multiplayer portion is a free-to-play package. It is a separate package from Halo Infinite. I don't care what anyone says. It's not part of that game. They are two separate games. There's the Halo Infinite multiplayer, and then there's the campaign, which will be a separate package.
Yeah.
What is going to make people who don't have Game Pass on PC and console go buy that package for $60? Like, for just the campaign for $60? Like, I get campaigns, can be worth $60, but like, as a Halo package, like, a person buys a $60 Halo package and they expect some things like campaign, co-op campaign at the start. But,
3 months later, Josh. 3 months.
but firefight,
Just a short
Forge.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that we haven't heard anything from Firefight, I just want to know how they're going to pad that portion of that.
Just makes me want to play more Halo.
I know.
Yeah,
I actually kind of want to play more Warzone.
So I did walk away from this though, wanting more. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I even heard somebody say, "Oh, they added Iron Sight to this game," but it's not like Iron Sight like in most games where it's just a bit of a zoom, but just enough to be good enough for like to fit Halo Sandbox. And I'm hearing this. I'm like, dude, that was in Halo 5. Like,
It was in Halo 5, yeah.
this was all in Halo 5. So I feel like, man, that campaign really destroyed Halo 5 because I feel like people would have been giving that just as much praise as this.
I didn't play Halo 5's multiplayer till like quite late because I was so pissed off with the campaign. I do remember that.
Yeah, so, yeah, but
it was good though.
I'm very much looking forward to Halo Infinite, and I think it's going to be a better package, and it's going to have obviously longer legs than Halo 5, but it's great.
Man,
it's Halo. It's
what Dolby
want,
Atmos audio on the new headset too. That was awesome.
Dude, good. Like the guns sound great. The graphics look awesome. The art style, like you were saying, it hits this nice middle ground. So it moves away from the Halo 5 art style, which I like. The game just feels it feels and it looks like Halo. It feels like the sequel to Halo 3 we wanted.
Yeah.
So actually, that's more so. It feels like Halo 3's sequel. So,
absolutely.
And that's what
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
And I'll get used to the guns. Like I'll get used to it, and I'll probably be saying, "Oh, now, like, give me 6 months." And mind you, I have like almost a month of game time logged into Halo 5 alone, so I played that crap out of that, a lot. Give me a field of view slider on that game, and I can go back easily.
Yeah,
and the custom controls. The custom controls on this were great. Like they Halo has not always had the best control scheme. They get so close almost every single time, and just having that custom control scheme so we could set it up was just beautiful. After I set that up, I was just happy.
It's so funny you guys just said that because I was when I played Halo Combat Evolved with Frankie, and I was like jumping, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe people do this. Like, you know what I mean? I can't believe this was the norm, because I'm just like,
Well, so we play this. We usually play the control scheme from Halo 5 called Hell Jumper. Yeah. So it allows you to have your bumper jumper, but they just did some weird things like B was to reload and X was your dash button and A was to jump. Or no, A was to toggle sprint.
It was weird.
Yeah. They should have just, and when we saw custom controls, we were like, okay, we're going to keep the Hell Jumper, but we're going to move B to X. And the equipment.
Reload on X, sprint on the joystick.
And duck on B like every other game. So we, if there's anything we copied kind of from Call of Duty was the control scheme. So definitely Call of Duty got the control scheme.
It's funny you guys said that because I still like having B as melee because that's kind of like that classic control feel. Like I've always loved because it's like I always use melee as like an emergency
in the joystick.
Oh, that's kind of smart.
Yeah, melee on the joystick.
Yeah.
So you get right joystick. I feel like those three actions need to be so set up so that you don't have to take your hands off of the joysticks.
Yeah, they need to be accessible.
It's just like you need melee, you need sprint, and you need jump. All on like if you're taking your thumb off that joystick, that's when you stop looking around, stop being able to follow other users, like other players and everything, and then you just kind of start to lose skill in that way.
Yeah. These Halo veterans talk.
Oh yeah, and everyone, if you play Halo on controllers and you have vibration on, turn it off. Like, You
I still
become
play
such
with
a
it
better.
on
I still put it on campaign because I just
Yeah,
like
I'm
the
just
feeling
like
of it on
I'm
campaign.
just like shut it off
I
because
like it on campaign. I don't
it's
know. We just
it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
insane how much it fucks up your aiming. Like it
It probably does. It probably does.
no, it 100% does. You
Yeah.
turn that off and you start playing, you're like, oh shit. Like play Destiny right now with vibration on and then turn off vibration. And it's so funny, the arguments all like, oh, I need it to feel when I'm getting shot. I'm like, so when you're playing a PC game that has no vibration, how the fuck do you know you're getting shot then? I'm like, isn't it better to play on PC?
Yeah.
My screen turns red. I'm on the ground. That's
Yeah,
how I know.
exactly. My screen turns red and there's no light at the bottom. Like, I'm fine. Like, don't worry.
I actually might get a keyboard and mouse because I've been thinking about it for Halo. Just I don't know why. I've just been like, maybe I should try it. But then I realized I've been playing for 20 years on the controller.
This is the best for the Edge browser.
Yeah. Not for Halo though. I don't know about that for Halo.
No, not
I gotta try mine out because I got the whole one game pad.
Yeah. Ooh, that one's
Try
pretty
that
cool.
out on there because that's the left hand like controller basically, and then you got the right hand for your mouse.
Dude, honestly, I could totally do like just hold like a nunchuck like this and the mouse and key like that and just do a combination.
Keyboard and the nunchuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Get the
the mouse and the nunchuck.
Yeah. Oh wow. All right.
But it's encouraging. I feel like
I'm excited for it more than ever.
Yeah,
me too.
And remember
Me too.
remember with Halo 2, that game came together at like the last like 10 months of the game being developed. It just kind of all came together. So I hope we get the kind of same magic we got with Halo 2 with this game. With this,
the best way I can put it is I went into it unsure and came out happier about it than I was when I went in.
Same here. That's exact.
If there's one thing though, when you're sprinting, just lose those lines, like the speed lines. Like I get it, we're running really fast.
That's how I know I'm Naruto running, okay?
Yeah, I know. It's like
I just forget about my gun in front of me and just pretend his arms are right behind his back. Just shoot behind him.
Like, and it's so funny because when you jump, the lines like will turn up, and so it looks stupid.
Well, I think it's the fact that like Spartans can see wind. You know what I mean? I think that's probably
we can see fucking.
We can see the wind. The Spartans can see wind. That's probably
he just grabs the sand off it and just like throws it.
Like, well, that was one of the trailers, right? Like Halo 5 Guardians. He just Master Chief is for some odd reason in a desert, and for no odd reason, we'll see.
What ever happened with that?
I don't know. Yeah, that makes no sense.
You get out of there real quick. Uncomfortable in that suit.
Yeah, he was like,
I'm
probably gonna. Yeah. That's it for this week. This was a good episode. Yeah.
Fantastic episode.
It's good to have good to have some Halo back.
Your mic's not cutting in and out. So we found out what was going on.
I just gotta speak closer. Yeah, just a little bit.
Close. You just
our podcasts will be ASMR from now on.
From now on, I will always be like this. You know what I mean?
Nice and close.
Yeah.
I want you right in my head, Andrew.
Oh, man. I'm like trying to not look at a computer screen with my glasses. I had to take it off, and now I look really tired. And like I'm just like, I hope I don't look tired in the podcast. But the problem is because now
don't worry. You're always falling apart near the end. So
I know. I'm always struggling to say all the ending parts. Like, if you've been watching our episodes in YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment down. Thank you for watching it, for whoever has been watching it since day one, and thank you for new people for watching it. And if you've been listening to us on Spotify and Google Podcasts, you're looking at Xbox Nord Podcast. And on Reddit, Instagram, look at Xbox Nord Podcast. And for Twitter, at North Xbox. Man, I've been enjoying this. I can't believe not tomorrow. Next week's going to be 20. 20.
Yeah.
20 weeks.
We're getting up there.
That's good. That's really good. And there's so many things to talk about. There's so many things to look forward to.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. We'll be doing our impressions of probably Back for Blood next week at that point, right? So we got to get some... Yeah, it comes out.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, you're right. We'll probably play it on That's the first
As
day.
long as I can get off of some of these other games. And we got some beta coming up for Battlefield.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then I feel like there's gonna be some crazy. Yeah, there's gonna be some
So
new
much
stuff.
stuff.
There's always at this time. This is when like everything is gonna start coming in, right? And all the things for the fall. A lot of these like maybe some delays. Well, hopefully we don't get any delays, but it looks really good. Yeah, but yeah,
Fingers crossed for a Battlefield Game Pass announcement. So let's just
Please.
will it to existence.
EA, please listen for once. Don't be like Ubisoft. Actually, you know what? Ubisoft will give you a chance with your Ghost Recon Battle Royale. Okay, we'll give you this chance. We'll whatever.
At least it doesn't offend me.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Thank you again, Josh, Dan. Thank you guys. Good.
Anytime,
Great.
bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a great time.
Bye-bye.
Bravo.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.